Hey everyone, today we're going to learn some tarot techniques for talking to deceased loved ones. You could talk to angels this way or guides, but these are, there's a couple of decks that I discovered are really good at talking to deceased people. So one of the things that is important about a deck that you're going to use, a tarot deck that you're going to use to talk to deceased loved ones who have passed away, is the symbols in the deck, okay? So one of the really good decks that I found is Anna Kay, A-N-A and the initial K, Anna Kay. The story is amazing of how she designed this. I'll let you research that on your own. But basically you want the artwork in the cards to express what the loved ones on the other side would, you want them to be able to express or impress upon you to pull a card, and that card they would be able to relate to it. Here's a gathering or a group of people maybe going hiking together. Here's someone who's sitting wishing and thinking that they were with you and see the reflection of the water. This is somebody who had a painful death and they walked out of their body. See them walking away. They walked out of their body. They had a painful death. So you want a deck that they can impress upon you to which card to pull that will be symbolic of what they're trying to say. So the other deck that I enjoy using is the Steampunk, Steampunk, Steampunk Tarot. This is very, very accurate. So I'm going to show you some of the images in this deck. So here's suffering. This is a card about maybe they left children behind and they're suffering. Now, of course, a steampunk, you have to remember, this is the Victorian age and they gave, as if they had machines. So, I mean, this could be driving a car. Now, the woman left behind has to learn how to drive this car, and it's about, this mechanical or do mechanical things. So this deck has people doing things, listening. Now, look at this person here. Maybe you sat with them by their bedside, sitting by their bedside, and the angel, and they met an angel, and maybe, there's music playing over there, or they had some tie to music. Some of the decks that don't work, I'm not even sure which deck this is, but it doesn't even matter. So you'd look at the artwork, and let's say that you would have a question to ask them, and you would pull this card of this man that's half bird holding a sun. You're not going to quite know what to do with that. Some of these images, of these other decks, they don't make much sense. I mean, some of them you might be able to make sense out of. This one, if you happen to pull this one, this could be that they're looking over you, So that one might have some relevance. But for the most part, this deck is pretty much people with animals, like animal people or something like that. So if they were tied to animals in some way, but there's not a consistent feeling of any emotions in this deck, so they can't come across with any emotions like happiness and sadness that are in those other decks. Here's a Legacy Tarot. Let's just look at a few cards there. So if you were trying to talk to somebody with Legacy Tarot, you would get this king-looking figure, and I'm not sure what you would do with that. He's just kind of standing there. He doesn't have a lot of emotion. Here's another thing that, there's some green hands, a green hand putting money down. I guess you could maybe say that they were trying to bring you money. But these cards just don't have the everyday, eating together, going hiking, memories that common people or ordinary people would have. So one of the things that you can do, like I have a good friend that passed away quite a few years ago, and her first name is Carrie. And I have not really tried to communicate with her since she passed. It's been quite a few years. So I'm going to ask, how is Carrie doing? Or does Carrie have a message for me? And I'm using the Steampunk. So I would just shuffle it like this, and they'll impress upon you the card, that you can pull, so you don't have to, and here is somebody that's a card reader. And of course, I read the cards, and she's showing me flipping the cards. So she's very happy. This woman is expressing that she's very content that I'm still flipping cards, and that would be the type of humor that she would have. And then you can continue to build your message by continuing to pull cards. So the next card is like you know, she's looking down. She's at a higher level, and she's looking down. And also, you know, she left behind a spouse. And so maybe she's also communicating that she's looking down over that spouse. So that's another way that they can use the cards for symbols. So here's another one, and you know this represents somebody working or carving out or making, you know, carving out a niche for themselves. And you can see a cup of coffee here. So you can grab the cup of coffees here. I guess the opposite in the stream, the screen. You can grab any symbol out of that card and go with it. It could be the coffee. It could be the window open with the breeze. Whatever you're drawn to on that card is what, you know, what they may impress upon you. When you start practicing this, you might find that you will become amazingly accurate at communicating to people. So remember, the artwork is very, very important. It has to depict everyday life down here on the planet. If you get like angels or cat tarot, you know, you're not going to be able to get enough of the images for them to convey what they want to convey to you. So I hope you guys will give this a try. If not, you know, that's okay too. There's lots of other ways, you know, to communicate with the loved ones. They're always sending you messages and signs. But this is just one tool that I have enjoyed using. Thank you.